Hello, I'm Savage, also known as Dave, and I'm posing the question: Is 50 too old to reject the status quo? Um, Judging from the internet, I don't think it is. And what does it even mean to reject the status quo? First of all, I'm 55, so a little deception there in the statement of 50, but I know I'm not the only one. Right, reach a point in life and you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't want to do this anymore. Nothing seems right. Nothing seems fair. Nothing seems equitable. Nothing seems whatever. Society rages at one another and blames each other for things that large part are out of our control, but a lot of it is in our control. And then I realized the places I've been, the things I've done, things I've achieved, money I've made, whatever, is all just meaningless. I started realizing the things that I sacrificed to get that, and those things are so much more important than most of that. So I just dumped it. I dumped it all. Now all this stuff. You hear my chickens yelling. Probably look around somewhere and find some cats. Um, and I thought, well, what do I do about it? Right. So I did. I packed it all in. Got rid of it all. All of it. It's all gone. It's been a few years now, and I just want to start a channel. I have some reasons for it. Right. There's probably three reasons. Uh, Technically four, I guess. The first one's purpose. Whether or not I was good at my job, I don't know. I did it for 28 years, and you know, I suppose you have to ask the people I worked with if I was any good at it. It's not for me to tell you, but my longevity and my wage would suggest that I was decent at it. But again, that's up to them. So this stuff builds up inside of me, right? And I've isolated myself a little bit, living on this sand dune, giving myself a mission to turn this sand dune green. So far, it's been a blessing. It's a tough life, well below the poverty level, um, which was kind of my goal the whole time, is not to be there until I realized that the best memories I have with my family, with my kids growing up, things like that, all my best memories was when I had the least. Um, that could be a fool's way of thinking. I don't know, but I also know it's a little unorthodox to just go and say, okay, get rid of all this stuff and do the Francis of Assisi and just move on, right? And I thought, well, that's the way, right? And so there's three reasons that I'm doing this. I'm not here to encourage. I'm not here to influence. I'm sorry, I am here to encourage. I'm not here to influence. Um, but I had three reasons that I did what I did, and the same three reasons that I'm gonna post YouTube videos, right? Uh, the first one is purpose, right? I dedicated everything to that job, including time that would have been better spent with my wife and with my children. That's time you can't get back. And even though you can't get things back, you can repair things. You can reinforce things. You can build things stronger. You can love where you should have loved before, and avoid where you should have avoided before. And that's kind of what I'm doing. So my three reasons. The first one is purpose. Right. I was just part of the Walking Dead. Um, Sorry, I got cats all around me. Isn't that right, Chunkster? This is a Chunkster. That's a Sunshine. And that's a Pug. So that's three of the 10. Right? I'll tell you what, I ain't got no snakes, it's hard to come by a mouse out here. Um, so, purpose. I was just part of the Walking Dead. There was no purpose there. I think a man's got to be challenged, right? I think humans in general, we like a challenge. And I just wasn't challenged anymore. I worked for And in those 28 years, I worked for only 2 companies, and they were what I'd call good companies, right? If that's what you're looking to do, the first one, the challenge was consistent, constant. Uh, I made nearly half the money that I did at the second one, but the challenge was there every day. I'd wake up knowing what I had to accomplish, go to bed either feeling good or bad about not doing that, regardless of how much time I had to sacrifice and other things I had to sacrifice. Uh, in the second place, it was a maintenance job. I was higher up the ladder. It was in the. It just became a maintenance job. It wasn't challenging for me. Um, so as much as I appreciate it, I decided to call it an early retirement and get out of there. Um, I haven't regretted it one day. Had a nice house, southeast Wisconsin, 2 paid-for vehicles. I was virtually debt-free, making my 6 figures. I was bored to tears and disgusted with myself. I thought it was a place I needed to go, and when I got there, I kind of realized that, you know, once the objectives are gone, the purpose is gone. So I needed objectives. So again, now I live on a sand dune, and my objective is to turn it green in the middle of Wyoming. Not easy to do. So purpose was my first one. I think a man needs a purpose, um, and I'm full of purpose here. Right, I wake up before first light, and I'm in bed long after last light. There's never a question. I don't even need an alarm. Right, I just get up because these birds got to be fed. So now I got, I don't know, 42 or 43 chickens. Um, I got like 11 ducks, 6 rabbits, hopefully a lot more rabbits here this weekend. Waiting for them to pull some hair because we got some breeding done, and hopefully come February there'll be some rabbit meat in the freezer. So, purpose is the first reason. Um, man needs a purpose. I don't care what you got at home or what you got. My purpose wasn't to let my family live a better lifestyle without me. Um, and my purpose also wasn't to just start storing assets and stuff so they could fight over them when I'm gone, right? Will I live long enough to make the dune green? I don't know. I don't know. But if I do, I'll just find another dune. If I happen to turn it green before I die, I'll just find another dune and turn that one green too, maybe. Who knows, right? Here's my rabbit house, right? You guys gonna be productive for me, huh? Hoping to see some pulling hair going on in there so we can watch that together. Uh, the second reason is freedom, right? In America, especially, we pride ourselves in being free. I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but we're not free, man. Uh, we're not free, right? You got to figure if you can't drive down the road without a seatbelt, without the risk of being drug out of your car and beaten and handcuffed and imprisoned, when the cop's having a bad day, you're not free, right? Are you really free? You buy your land, you buy your house, and then you pay the government every year for permission to stay there. That's not freedom, man. So, yeah, I'm here. I got a property tax bill I got to pay every year. It's low. It's dirt cheap. I got no running water. About to enter my third winter here. Um, and the last two, and this is Wyoming, keep in mind, the last two I survived on space heaters, which is awful, and of course not free either. But the previous owner who was trying to redo this place left a pellet stove in there. I didn't have a cord for it, so I picked up a cord, picked up a thermostat, got it working, and I just had a $75 power bill. Right, and this is winter in Wyoming, so I'll take that. Now, of course, I buy pellets for the stove, but it's vastly less expensive than it was to run space heaters or any kind of electric heating. What's up, Pugster? My friends. These are my friends. Um, so me and my wife's here. She's a warrior. God bless her. She puts up with all this. But Um, yeah, so I wanted to be as free as a man could be these days, right? Um, I don't think there's anywhere you go you could really be 100% free, and I don't know if any of us really need that, to be honest with you. But I did need more freedom than I had. Um, you getting up, going to work every day, and a job that's starting to make you feel miserable, a job without purpose, no objectives. That's not freedom, you know. And I didn't want that anymore. So, uh, so here I am, feeling what it means to be free. Sometimes it's cold. Sometimes you're a little hungry. Sometimes you're wondering how you're gonna, pay the few things you do got to pay every month, just groceries and gas in the truck, right? I still have the paid for truck, the other paid for vehicle we sold just to keep this going. Uh, Initially bought a tractor. I'll do other stories about the place I stopped for a year and a half before I came here. Dead set in the middle of the Wyoming plains, and I just happened to pick the year where it was about the worst winter in about like 52 years. Um, but hey, I could say I was out there in basically an uninsulated shed with my two giant dogs, and we survived. That was my objective: keep me, those two dogs, and the three chickens I had alive. And we did that. Uh, and those are stories that I was here. My sons are here, not on the land, but they're here, so they got to be a part of that. Without them, I'd never survived out there. To be honest with you, those are stories for another time. Um, but if I'm not free to risk my own life, then am I really free? So I'll just say I'm closer to freedom than I've ever been in my life, at least since before the age of accountability. You know what I'm saying? Third reason I'm doing what I'm doing, and these are the same three reasons that I'm making these videos and posting them. Third one is legacy, right? Um, I've got grandchildren. I got two sons and a daughter. My daughter lives in Florida. God bless her. Um, hey, where you going, Pugster? Got a little cat. He's got a perma arch in his back. It's funny to watch him walk around like he's always a Halloween cat. Um, but legacy, right? Where I should have been building legacy for the last 30 years, God willing, I'll have 20 or so left, and I can get legacy built in them. Right? I want my grandchildren, um, and my great grandchildren even, to be able to go and hear my voice, hear my headspace, see what's in my headspace, see what I think of the world, the change the world goes through. I can't tell you how many times I wish that I could hear my grandparents talk about it, right? But of course, when I was young, we moved away from them in Chicago, out here to Wyoming. Of course, I got out of Wyoming as soon as I turned 18. Went to the Marine Corps, spent, I don't know, 18, 20 years in California. Went back to the upper Midwest and worked up there for another 15 or so. And yeah, and I keep saying, and I'll have to work on that. But I don't want that. I want to secure some foundations in the family tree, regardless of what happens in my branch when I'm gone. I want somebody to be able to say, "What was that crazy old bastard thinking?" Right? Or a crazy stinky old man is what my granddaughter calls me. But she also thinks I'm a better cook than Gordon Ramsay. I try to argue with her. Sorry, Gordon Ramsay. I try to argue with her, but she insists if he don't make my bread, then he's just not as good. So sorry, the camel work's not going to be great. It's a little cold out here. But I'd say legacy is the last, right? Um, I wish I had videos from my grandparents, my great grandparents, um, from when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, hearing their perspective on the world, the things that are going on, the things that are changing. I think it's a big weakness in the West how now we encourage people to grow up and just move away, right? We're robbing not only from the grandparents, but we're robbing from them children. We're robbing from our children, right? They move away, and even if they seek independence, they need us, right? There's things about the world just don't make sense, and you need your parents there. Sometimes to listen, sometimes to explain, whatever. Sometimes just to love you through it, you know. So those are my reasons. Those are my reasons for doing this. Um, if there is a fourth one, I think maybe I'm looking for my people. I've isolated myself. I'm showing you my mountain desert back here. Um, those are my reasons from isolating uh, myself from society. I've weeded the people out of my life I considered poison. Um, they don't have to bring me value, but they can't bring me the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Family or otherwise, doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. It either helps or it's got to move out of the way. You know, and that right, Thumper, my boy Thumper. So, so yeah, this is the plan. All right, I'll get more into that in subsequent videos. I'm gonna challenge myself to uh, do some videos on consecutive days, just to get them on there, just to kind of break the ice, get myself in the habit. But yeah, the asterisk on the number 4 is that I think I'm looking for my people, because I'm not the only one that feels all this stuff. I'm not the only one that gets it. The world just ain't right, and everybody's fighting. Everybody's talking. Nobody's listening. Everybody's fighting. I'm not really sure deep down everybody knows what they're fighting about. I think they're being told what to fight about, so they just do. And it's pretty sad. Right? It makes me pretty sad. This camera work's awful, I'm sure. Did I even call it? Camera work's a step in the right direction. So anyhow, that's it. I'm not going to ramble on too much longer, but I just feel like the world hadn't been right for a while, and it's more right out here than it's ever been. Doing things I haven't done, facing challenges I haven't faced. There's a challenge and purpose every time I wake up in the morning, regardless of the circumstances, regardless how tough it is. The chickens don't care, the rabbits don't care, the dogs don't care. They need to be fed, they need to be cared for. Um, and because of that, they produce for me, right? And that's all I'm looking to do. I'm looking for them to produce for me. I don't want to get rich, but they supplement. The chickens right now, well, not right now because they're going through molt. Eggs are a little down, but probably 8 months of the year, the chickens pay for the feed and everything for all the animals. Um, so anything I do beyond that, as far as selling rabbits, selling rabbit meat, selling chickens, selling chicken meat, ducks, duck meat, things like that. Um, that's just income that helps me expand the rest of the operation. So that's the plan. So maybe I don't know. Maybe someone's going to see this and maybe they're my people. So let me know what you think about where the world's at, where the world's going, and what's the most important. What should we be focusing on? Am I way off my rocker here? Should I have stayed in the corporate grind and done the status quo? I don't think so. I think I'd have felt more regret by now had that been the case, but I haven't felt an ounce of it. Um, I'm poor and I'm not ashamed because I'm building every day. Um, and I think that takes some stones to do. That's the other thing. I got to do something, take some stones, like being challenged. If you're challenged, if you walk into challenge, I think it does take a little bit of stones. The world kind of tells you how to avoid challenge. It tells you how to get away from it, roll your eyes at it. Not me, man. That's just not my thing. So I'm here and I'm challenged. But let me know. Let me know. Maybe somebody else out there is 55 years old and they've had these thoughts and stuff. Maybe something's kept them from pulling the trigger on doing something like this, right? Maybe maybe that's the right thing to do. Maybe it's right to have your family spread across the country. Make as much money as you can so that when you die, they can fight over it, right? Call it blessing, but I call it fighting over it. I've seen it. So anyhow, that's it. That's it. Let me know what you think. I'm taking my glove off, turn this phone off, and then I'm getting out of this cold for a few minutes before I get back to work. That's it. I love you, Jesus. Oh, hey, yeah, leave it down there if you will. Like, subscribe, whatever. But I don't know if I'd subscribe if I only ever did one video yet. But if you do like it. Um, and if you got questions, things to add, There's probably be more of that as I go on, maybe. I hope, perhaps, because I'm looking for my people. People just want to have honest discussions, productive or not, right? Peaceful discussions. It's the other thing I was after is peace, right? Peace and purpose, and I think I found them both out here. Don't care what the world thinks, really, but I'm freer than they are. I love you. Jesus loves you. Peace.